What is up everyone, and welcome to Banished. This is a lovely survival game. I absolutely love this game. It kind of reminds me of the original Age of Empires games. Just a little bit more modernized, a little bit more survival orientated. You're not versing someone else. Just got a new map being made here. I'm actually going to stick with that name. We're going to go with Plains, our normal one, huge terrain size, climate fair, disasters on, and starting conditions hard. So let's get in and get the map generated. It does take a little bit to generate the map the first time. So for this series, I don't really have any goals. Essentially, our goal is to just survive as long as we can and get our town as big as we can and as big a population as we can. I'm going to pause it right away. And I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit. And we'll set up our user interface. I do have a couple of mods installed. As always, mods are going to be listed down below. So one mod is the different map sizes. I've got one for 2-story houses. We'll get our professions up. And our resource limits. So I like to put everything around the edge, keep the middle relatively clear. And first thing I'm going to do, going to add an extra 0 onto each of the resources. Excluding tools, I'm just going to make to 100. Okay, and let's have a look at where we are. So we're actually in a pretty good position for my starting area. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, I'm going to make this part here my first expansion into town. But here, kind of see a little bit of a natural circle, right where we've started, is where I'm going to start off. So I have a very effective starting layout that works. So we're going to start off with, we need not a woodcutter, we need a forest lodge. I might actually move it down here. So we'll put our forest lodge here. From the forest lodge, so we'll get some roads going across. Okay, we'll get a hunting cabin going. Put that next to it. So where our hunting cabin is, I will put quick road indicating the end. We'll put down a storage barn. That gives us our width. So we've got a storage barn in the middle. On the other side, directly opposite the storage barn, we'll put a gatherer's hut. This one here. So they'll have easy access directly into the storage barn. Put another piece of road there, and that will become our first storage area. We're going to need a woodcutter up pretty quick as well. So we get a woodcutter there. And eventually for medicine, nice and close to the storage barn again, we'll put a herbalist. Now, because we don't want everyone just straight up trying to build multiple things, I'm going to pause the woodcutter. We're going to keep the gatherer's hut going. We'll pause the hunting cabin. The herbalist can wait. So our main priority is the forest lodge, stockpile, gatherer's hut, and the storage barn. Let's quickly run our... Can't run our roads out yet. Under housing, we do need to get some housing going. I've got a mod for colourful little houses. It adds 2-story houses, so you can get one family in the bottom, one family at the top, so you're not building so many houses. When you're placing them, if you have a look, there's like a little... The actual house is 3 wide, but there's a little kind of fenced off area to the right. What we're going to do, that fenced off area is where the stairs go for the upstairs level. So I'm going to make sure to keep those clear. And I'll put one more set on the other side as well. But we'll pause the upstairs. And I'll actually pause this whole house here. And I'll get started with 2 builders. And let's get our time going as well. So to quickly pause and continue your game is just spacebar. Generally when I'm planning out an area, especially early game, I'll pause it, I'll lay everything out, and then I'll resume the game. I like to try and keep things... I try to keep a certain number of builders and only a certain number of houses going, well, a certain number of projects going at the same time. Otherwise what will happen is those builders and your laborers will go between the different locations, and you'll see it'll take a long time to get a couple of things going. Of course, you do have the option of prioritizing as well. So I can increase the priority of, say, the storage barn here. And they're going to build that first for me. See, they're busy getting everything done. I have set out quite a large area of stone and iron to be cleared. That will probably result in them filling up that storage area pretty quick. Okay, next thing we want to do, we don't want to run out of food. Let's get that gatherer's hut built next. Forester's Lodge is built. Now I do have a mod on, it increases the growth rate of trees by 4 times and increases their lifespan by 4 times. If you don't have that mod, set your maximum workers to the lodge as 2 and you'll find you have a pretty good balance, that it won't be too overgrown, but you'll never run out of trees for them to cut down. I'm going to put 2 actual workers in here, and because I do have that mod, I'm going to set a maximum of 3 workers. So we're just looking for 3 wood. So they've run out of wood because I actually haven't told them to cut down any. So the foresters will start working on it eventually. But in the meantime, just outside of our area, I'll have that much removed. Generally, areas like this, I'll set up a good, probably 4 of them to 5 of them. Over the course of the game, I'll generally do 2 at the start, and then a few more as I go later into the game. I tend to find that later on in the game I run out of stone more than I do wood. Although one thing to note, and I might actually change it, your fuel dictates how much firewood you're going to have, and coal. I might actually reduce that to just half it to 1000. And we've got our gatherer's hut. Put 2 workers in there. So the reason why I look at a gatherer's hut first for food instead of anything else is actually because it gives you the biggest variety. So if we have a look here, they produce roots, mushroom, onions, there's some potatoes, and I believe berries as well in there. I'm not quite sure. But the larger your variety of food, the higher your health is going to be amongst your citizens. So they're going to work on getting a couple of the houses built next. We definitely want to make sure we get houses up early before we go into too far into winter. So we are waiting on wood again and stone. So I think I'll pause that one, just so they're working on the one building. So we're in autumn right now, so we're going to start seeing cold weather come in. Really need them to get this going. I'd actually prioritize that there. So we get the next house unpaused and the woodcutter. We don't have that much firewood, only 100. And our reserve of tools is getting low apparently. We're down to 4. So I'm just going to quickly plan out. I'm thinking we'll eventually have a mine and a quarry over in this direction. Well, 2 mines and a quarry most likely. I do have the infinite mine and quarry mod installed. So just going to run out, and there we go. I will put, where are we? Our blacksmith. Right there, right at the edge. And I'll also prioritize that because I don't want us running out of tools. If we run out of tools, it's bad. Your productivity drops by like 90%. Here we go. It should start building it for us. And there we go, we're just running out of tools. Our builder actually just no longer has a tool. This is bad. So I'm going to immediately get someone in there. Yeah, they go. We've got 1 worker without a tool and we already have 3 back in storage. So that's good. Crisis averted. Thankfully, we got onto it quick enough that it didn't spread into multiple workers. Next one is we need to get this woodcutter up and going. So I do have a mod installed. So that's why your Forester's Lodge here actually looks different. It acts sort of, instead of them returning back to it and looking like a lodge, it's more of a storage area where they return supplies back to it that they've harvested. So I found with this previous setup without that mod, you would actually fill up your storage area, your stockpile very, very quickly. Get our woodcutter going. Now that I also know where my mine and quarries are going to go, I've got no problem just setting an area to be completely cleared. And we made it through the first winter. We're currently in early autumn. There we go, first 2 houses built. Just going to unpause all the other houses. Still got 12 citizens with no housing. There we go. That's 6 houses. We still need additional houses because we've still got people without places to live. So one thing to keep note of is, well, you need to keep building houses. You need to make sure you've got more houses than what your citizens require. Otherwise your population will stop growing. So I'm going to put 4 more houses down. And I'll put 1 here, directly opposite the blacksmith. Get our hunters going. For hunters, I don't like having all 3 in there all the time. Hunting cabins, as we get into the late game and create more pastures, become less necessary. My concern at the moment is food. We actually don't have much food in storage. So it says we have 572. Still 2 people without accommodation. Got 3 more houses to build, so that should give us ample. And there's our herbalist. Just going to put 1 herbalist in there. One thing to note with herbalists, the older the forest, the more herbs you're going to get. Herbs tend to grow better in, well, they grow more in undisturbed older forests. So obviously having 3 woodcutters instead of the normal 2, that's going to actually affect that. So I'll just keep 1 in there at all times. And since this is nearly empty, wrong button, I'll actually have them remove the storage cart. So as you can see, we're in a pretty good position already. We've got some food, although not as much as I would like. We're currently running low on wood. We've got plenty of firewood. Because we are going to constantly run out of wood. With that, I'm actually going to reduce firewood again. Put it at 300. And I think we'll put a general store here. So that will stop people just hogging all the resources out of the warehouse and stockpile. And it also means that as we get more spread out, as we have resources coming from different areas, they'll have more variety available here as well. Just set more area to be cleared. So as we can see, we may need to actually get more houses built. It looks like they're all occupied. But that's fine, we're pretty close to the river. So I'm going to put road out there. And I'm going to put probably about here at the bend. Going to put a fishing dock. I think right there will do for us. Put our storage barn. And I'll put 4 houses out here as well. Due to the size of this little town, don't think we're going to need 6 people in there ever. I think I'll limit it to 3. So the point of the general store, as I discussed earlier, they're going to go out, they'll bring stuff in for people to collect from here. Your citizens will collect from the general store or from your trade marketplaces as a priority. If they're too far away, then they'll go to your storage barns. As you can see, we've got a nice collection of tools. Might actually reduce that. 50 is more than enough for us to keep up at the moment. Right, so I think I'm going to finish the video here. We're in a pretty good spot right now. We've got ourselves our little starting area providing us with food and wood, firewood. We've got ourselves a blacksmith set up to provide us with tools, and we're starting to get essentially I'm going to call the trade district going over here. At the moment it's just a fishing hut, but I'm soon going to put a tailor there. Probably in the next video after that section gets built, we're going to put a tailor there. That's going to be our trading post and a few other things as well. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time.